my name is Yuri Kaza from Mouse, and we are back for week 11 of the GT3 VRS Sprint Series. We're in the Mercedes, and we're at Watkins Glen International Raceway. It's a really nice track, I think. Nice overtaking opportunities. A couple curves we have to navigate really carefully, and a couple corners we need to set up really well for the exit. Let's have a look from the inside cam how this looks like in a lap that we do around the track. Alright, so here we are, starting the lap, last sector as always, running race fuel. And I think we've got quite a jackpot that we won here. We're running Road, or not Road America, we're running Watkins Glen. And the temperatures are cold. And I don't know how this has happened, but that means we can really lean on the tires in these long flowing corners, and it's a lot of fun to drive. With turn 1, we want to brake to 200, all the way to the left side. I really set the car for a good exit from here, and the exit is everything. Allows us to have a good run all the way up the hill. Now bring it to the chicane, look at 300 marker on the left, a bit on the brakes from there. Close to that wall as we dare. To speed it through the chicane with a bit of throttle. Try to keep it tight here as well. Brake. We have one of the tire marks out here, keeping it tight. I will go into more detail on the outside lap. Exactly where the markers are. Again, here for the next right hand hairpin, I use the tire markers where they start on the road. Down 2 gears, and we can run all the way on the exit road here. Keeping it third through this hairpin as well. It'll help you with detection out of the corner. Slight lift here. Get the car all the way to the left side. Small tap on the brake, and then run it all the way to the outside wall here. Let's lap around Watkins Glen. Right, so here we are, start of the lap. Lovely sound of the Merc. And we're going to be looking to place our tires just to the left of this white line, but you have to be really careful because as you can see this grass line here, it's a lot wider than it is where we actually want to start turning in. So you don't want to be running on the edge of the tarmac here. It's quite deceivable. And you want to be looking at the 200 marker here to start braking and try to get close to this patch of grass, so not this one here. To brake all the way on the left side, and then on the inside curb, you want to come from the outside, so don't start turning in too early. We want to focus on the exit, and we want to use the camber of turn 1 here. Turn 1 is probably the most important corner on the track because we get the whole back straight coming up after this. So we want to apex late, and we want to aim with the right side tires for this edge in the curb here. We want to get close to that without hitting the inside. If you look from the cockpit cam, we want to aim for this part here. So slowly trail back to the inside. And as a good reference, you want to be on the throttle before we get to the bottom of this corner. So you want to be on throttle before that. And if you take the right entry, late enough apex, from this point on the curb, you should be able to go flat and carry that speed all the way to the exit. So let's play that at full speed. Coming from the left side, apex late, and then throttle once you hit this curb on the inside here, so that you carry all the momentum when we go uphill from the exit of the corner and really push your car into the road, and it helps it turn. Then for the exit, we want to make sure that 2 tires stay on this curb. That's the edge of the track limits. So we want to make sure that 2 tires stay on this curb here. If you go over it, you get an off track. On the old version, you used to be able to run all the way wide here. Now 2 tires on the curb is the limit. Then the next right and left hander is easy flat. You can try to set up a nice pass on the back straight in these. If you're running by yourself, just try to be really smooth to steering. That's going to help you give that extra 1 or 2 kilometers an hour of top speed on the back straight here. Then we get to the chicane, and chicane is all about making sure to do the line consistently well over the curb. What I like to do is look at the left side, the 300 marker here. From the 300 marker, tap the brake, not too much, and start turning in just after the 300 marker again. And then we get to the curb on the inside here. And this curb is not a flat curb. This curb is kind of a triangle. And the top of the triangle is here. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're not running the middle of the car over this point, especially when you're running behind the car. This can be tricky. You never want to hit this part here with the middle of your car. That's going to create a really big bounce of your car to go over. So you want to make sure you run it close to this wall here. It's impossible to ever get an off track here, so you can run as close to the wall as you can without worrying about the off track. The only thing you have to worry about is not hitting the wall, obviously. And the thing is that the closer you are able to run to this wall, the lower this curve is. And when the curve is lower, you can carry more speed. So if you can consistently run close to this wall, like you can see, we try to get as close to the wall as we can. That way the curve is as low as it gets. Close to this, and try to make sure that you get a nice line into the second, third, and fourth apex. If you're running too deep here and you want to start turning only after you hit this curb here, you're going to run too wide. So you want to exit right around here so that you're turning left at the latest before you hit this curb. And the last tip I have for the chicane is that once you get on these curbs, you never want to be on the brake. If you're on the brake on these curbs, the weight will be on the front of your car and the rear will be unloaded, and it will make it jump left and right much more. So for the first one here, as you can see, I'm off the brakes when I'm on the curb. Off the brakes. And for the next ones, I try to be on the throttle before I get to the curb. And we want to use this kind of extra road on the left side here after the curb to run over in the smooth line. So you want to use that here. Keep a bit on throttle. You want to use that here as well before the curb. And then you can run all the way on the right side curb here, again without getting the off track, as long as you're not running in the grass on the right side here. So we want to run at full speed, close to the wall, never be on the brakes on the curbs, and try to keep a bit of throttle for stability over the curbs as well. That's from curb 2, 3, and 4. Then we get to the big carousel. We want to brake right around this patch of tarmac here, and the only thing you want to do here is keep the balance of the car the same. And we're going to be turning the whole way around. We won't have time to go in a straight line to brake. That means we only have a tiny bit of brake, and we want to carry that quite a long time, otherwise we can't slow down. If you brake too much, you're going to upset the balance of the car too much. And then slowly get to the inside here. And what I like to aim for is at this entry road here. I want to be apexing like right at the end of this. And I also want to start really building the throttle at the end of this here. So we're coming from the outside. And at the end of this here, where this entry road is, I want to be apexing and I want to be building the throttle to almost max. And then carry that all the way to the exit here. You have a bit of camber again. And if you did that right, apexing just after the entry road, you should be able to carry a lot of speed, full throttle all the way to the exit. You can run all the way to the left side here as long as you're back before this grass bed starts. And we want to be back before this grass bed starts because we want to make it all the way to the right side so we have straight line braking as much as we can for the next left-hander again. We got a lot of long flowing corners here, so we need to be careful with how much combined input we do with the pedals. I'm using this patch of tarmac here as a marker, braking just before that. And again, we slowly want to start making it to the inside here. We can't brake in a straight line too long. That means we want to trail off the brakes quite early and slowly trail off the brakes. And we only want to apex quite late. And the point we want to apex, if we go to inside the car, is there's this bit of curb here that starts turning a bit tighter. Like it goes smooth, 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 turns a bit tighter, and then smooth, smooth, smooth again. I want to aim for this point here. This point where there's like a kink in the curb. And then from this point here, I want to follow the curb. So we want to come from the outside. And from this point where there's this kink in the curb is, we want to follow the inside. I run all the way to the exit curb. You can run 2 tires on the grass here a bit, but if you run 2 tires on the grass too early, so where this is wide the curb, you're gonna understeer off the track. Then you can either use this 200 buckets as a breakpoint, or I'm using the start of where this these tire tracks start as a breakpoint, and I brake just before that. And we want to run it all the way to the left side, and the point where you turn in is this edge and the line here. You can use that. I personally don't like to use it because I want to be looking further ahead, but you want to start turning around this point in the curb here. And what's also important here is that you don't want to get to the inside too early. We got an uphill, so if you enter to the inside too much here, you're going to be parking it too much on the apex, and you're not going to carry enough speed up the hill on the exit. So we want to bring it from the outside, and really far from the outside, and even here in the middle of the corner, we're still quite far from the outside. And slowly bring it towards the inside, and you see only at the exit here, where we're almost on top of the hill already, like 70% through the corner, we want to hit that inside curb. And we want to also be almost full throttle already from this point to carry that speed up the hill, so we get a nice run onto the straight following. We want to use this extra bit of tarmac in the left there on the exit. With a big run up the hill. And we want to brake quite early here because it's a downhill braking zone. And the point I use to brake is the start of these tire markers on the road. And they're quite well visible unless you're behind someone. So I want to come here, and at the start of these I start braking. If you're behind someone, you need to use the markers on the left side here, and about like 40% between the left and the right, you can start braking, but it's a lot more precise to use these markers on the road if you can use them. And brake just before that, again braking in a straight line. Apex quite late here, because again on the exit, we can use all this runoff here on the left side. We can run all the way to the grass here. And we should use it as well, because we have plenty of time again to make it to the right side here to start braking for the hairpin. And especially in the Mercedes, this hairpin here is quite tricky because the rear gets very unloaded. We get to the top of the hill. Means that once we get to the top of the hill, all the weight will be from the rear end of the car. So we're braking here and we get into the top of the hill, and the rear will be really light here. So what I like to do is just keep the car in third gear instead of going to second, and it helps keep a lot of stability in the rear end. Apex quite late, slowly in the power as well, and all the way to the edge of the curb on the exit. Same here, all the way to the right side as far as you can, edge of the tarmac. And I like to do only a small lift here, quite late. Try to hit the apex here, and from the middle of the corner again, be on throttle. The off track here is you need to be back on the curb when this starts here. So you can run super wide here, you can even run all the way over the curb. It's just not really a viable line because we need to be back on the left side for the last corner. So you end up kind of running on the edge of the curb here anyways, even though the off track is a bit further to the right side. Run it to the left side here and try to make sure that, again, you get to this left side here and you can brake following this line, the white line on the left side. Small tap on the brake, and you try to keep the speed up. And you go on throttle here at the point where you can make the corner by barely not touching the outside wall. And where that point is for you, you need to experiment with that a bit. It should be as early as possible, that you can run full throttle from here and barely escape hitting the wall on the left side here. And one thing that helps with that is that when you understeer a bit, hitting this curb, there's a bit of elevation change. This bit here kind of catches your car. So when you feel like you're going to understeer just about into the wall, sometimes you just about get saved. But it's a very dangerous game you're playing. In qualifying, especially in the second lap, if you have a good banker, you can really take risk here by using this curb to catch you. In the race, I wouldn't play with it too much, because if you hit this outside wall here, it's quite easy to get a bit of steering damage. So close to this wall without hitting it, and get a good exit, and that's the lap around Watkins Glen in the Mercedes. Alright, so there we go. lap around Watkins Glen. As you can see, in a lot of spaces we need to be really precise. High risk, high reward around this track. I really love like nailing a good qualifying lap on this track. It's really quite something. I wish everyone good luck, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel.